So the findings of my research. So research question 1, in what ways will STI seminars increase overall academic completion rates? To determine this, academic completion reports were utilized and were analyzed at the end of the 6-week STI seminar. Academic completion report results were analyzed with the quiz results from the 4 units studied during the 6-week research period, as well as with the implemented small group instructional strategies that each unit was coupled with. So the instructional strategies included partner work, interactive activities, and group discussions. The units studied during the 6 weeks were cell diffusion as osmosis, cell biology, genetics, and biochemistry. Unit quizzes were designed to assess a student's proficiency in each unit. Results from the quizzes were directly related to students' academic completion. So what was found in the academic completion reports was that the 4 units studied and the instructional strategies had demonstrated an impact on the students' overall academic completion. With the data collected, reports show that students' achievement within all 4 units were significantly influenced by the understanding of the instructional activity. And students who understood the activity showed progress in their achievement throughout all units studied. Thus, students were able to complete the task that was presented, and most with the proficient mastery level of the material. Overall, data collected from the student records showed that no student had fallen under the basic level of mastery, and in conclusion, the 8 students who had participated from the beginning to the end of the STI seminars had received the scores necessary to obtain academic completion of each unit, as well as the course as a whole. So the research question 2, in what ways will STI seminars increase student motivation? In order to determine this, pre and post surveys, student interviews, and a reflective journal was utilized for gathering and analyzing data. Collectively, these methods used for retrieving data provided the study with both a quantitative and qualitative evaluation of the study. So pre and post surveys, participants were administered pre and post surveys at the beginning, at the end of the STI seminar. The motivation survey was titled. The survey was titled Motivation Survey and consisted of 10 items that focus on student motivation in regards to their learning environment and activities. Participants were asked to specify their level of agreement for each statement, ranging from strongly agree, undecided, disagree, and strongly disagree. Data collected was analyzed using application of mean and standard deviation, and results from responses were utilized as descriptive statistics. So pre and post survey findings. There was a significant difference found in question 1A. When I'm doing my classwork, I feel involved. After the 6 weeks, student responses had moved significantly towards strongly agreeing that they felt involved while completing the classwork. So here we can see the graph that displays that in figure 1. All right. Another question that found a significant difference was question 3. I want to do well because it is important to show my abilities to my family, friends, and others. After the 6 weeks, this student responses had moved significantly towards agreeing that they wanted to do well because it was important for them to show their ability to their friends, family, and others. As well, here's the graph. Significant difference found in question 6. I learned better through hands-on activities. In this question, results show that after the 6 weeks, responses are moved significantly towards agreeing that they have learned better through hands-on activities. Significant difference found in question 7. I complete more credits when I work independently. After the 6 weeks, student responses moved significantly towards agreeing that they completed more credits when they had worked independently. In question 8, a significant difference was found. I make good use of my class time when I'm doing group work. After the 6 weeks, this also had shown that responses moved significantly towards being undecided on whether they made good use of their class time when doing group work. So findings that were seen in the pre and post surveys was that they showed students had showed significant increase in favorability when it came to motivating factors such as feeling involved, wanting to do well because it was important to show their ability to their friends, family, and others, and also learning through hands-on activities. Also, data revealed that students' motivation had increased when asked, I complete more credits when I work independently, and students' favorability decreased when asked, I make good use of my class time when I'm doing work. Furthermore, no significant differences in motivation were found in the remaining 7 responses after the 6-week seminars had been completed, and the following questions are as follows. So interviews. Interviews were utilized as a qualitative data for the topic being explored, and interviews were conducted at the end of the 6 weeks. 5 questions were constructed and titled in a document called Interview Questions, and it helped facilitate and guide the conversation. Collected data was configured through analytical procedures, including organizing data, generating categories, and developing coding categories using emerging themes. So there were 3 themes that emerged from the interviews: small group size, group discussions, and interactive activities. So several students have recounted that their experience was easier due to small group implementations. Students also expressed that the use of small group size enabled them to get to know one another, which in turn made them feel comfortable to be vocal during discussion and activities. The second thing that emerged from the group discussion was that of group discussions. Group described this as a positive interaction between the students and the teachers, and group discussions allowed for students to work together and learn from one another, formulating new ideas. In addition, it granted them more time for going over coursework, and input would be contributed from both the teacher and the student. So last emerging theme, interactive activities. Participants described interactive activities as being fun and not feeling like work, which made it easier for them to participate and be present. Furthermore, activities brought course content alive, thus making assignments more capable of being understood and completed. So the reflective journal. To determine motivation, how SGIS seminars increase student motivation, a reflective journal was used as also a qualitative instrument for collecting data. The reflective journal used for the study was written in chronological account of what transpired during the 6-week observation period, and entries provided a detailed narrative highlighting daily activities and behaviors between the teacher and the student, as well as a daily reflection of these interactions. The reflective journal findings had four facets that were categorized as group discussions, individual partner group work, interactive activities, and quizzes. So in group discussions, interaction and engagement between both students were positive. When students were not able to answer students were not able to answer certain questions, another student would chime in and help aid them. Also, as it progressed, this interaction had shown to benefit the students in increasing their motivation because of the collaborative nature and helped one another be successful. Individual partner work was another learning strategy, and students became eager to work with one another to complete their project work or project, and also increased productivity and assignment completion. The third learning facet, interactivities, helped students complete activity assignments, but also help them comprehend the concepts that were being taught. Interactive activities, whether it be individual or within partners or groups, help motivate the students to stay highly engaged while working. Unit quizzes were the fourth activity implemented. Before these unit quizzes would be administered, the class as a whole would review the content that was going to be quizzed upon, and preparing for these quizzes in this fashion was a great way to build student confidence, and collaboration of this nature helped students take unit quizzes without worries or reservations. Discussion. So the data collected from the academic completion reports, quantitative and qualitative instruments show the ways in which small group instruction affected students' overall academic completion rates and student motivation. Data showed that students who had completed the small group instruction seminars had received the necessary grade to obtain academic completion of the course, and had also shown an increase in their motivation. However, an increase in motivation had only occurred in a few areas. So, to continue the discussion in regards to academic completion rates, the research had showed that after the 6 weeks, the 8 students who had completed the seminars had all achieved academic completion, and analysis had showed that students who understood the activity concepts showed progress in their achievement. In regards to motivation, SGI seminars had shown an increase in motivation in a few areas. Results show that the application of small groups, the small group size, was a major factor that motivated students to participate and complete their coursework. And also, in addition, as the SGI seminars progressed, daily discussions, individual group habit work, interactive activity, and unit quizzes became a beneficial interaction that helped motivate motivation, that helped increase student motivation. Also, results from pre and post survey results had showed that students felt motivated with factors such as feeling involved in completing classwork, wanting to do well because it was important for them to show their ability to others, their friends, family, or others, and also through hands-on activities. On the other hand, survey responses also revealed that after the 6 weeks, students preferred to work independently, and also when it came to making good use of their class time, when doing group work, had little effect after the 6 weeks. So one reason that this could have occurred was that these two variables may have been related. Thus, students who preferred to work independently might have been more likely to stay focused and make good use of their time than if they would have worked in groups. So some limitations of the study is that was of the lower number in participation than originally anticipated. Out of the 10 students who initially were involved, only 8 students have participated from the beginning to the end, and only 6 students completed the pre and post surveys and interview process. So the inconsistencies between the select few students played a role in the smaller sample size, and also in obtaining survey and interview feedback. So lack of responses propose a limitation for the scope of analysis during the data collection period. Thus, found there was an obstacle that was found when trying to find a trend in a meaningful relationship between the two variables that were being studied.